video was made possible thanks to the support of assetprotection.au, supporting security professionals achieve more with the Aritech range of products.
Hey there, and welcome to this quick start guide for WMS Pro. So you've just got the software installed, and you're probably wondering what's next. Well, you are in exactly the right place.
Yeah, this guide basically picks up right where that main software installation leaves off. Right now, your server has this fresh, empty version of WMS Pro just sitting there, and we're about to bring it to life.
So you're staring at that fresh install thinking, okay, now what? That is exactly what we're here to answer. We're going to get you through those crucial first steps to get your system activated and configured. Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to tackle this in 5 main parts. We'll start with your very first login, then we'll get the hardware panel connected. After that, we'll enroll the controllers, manage who can get in with user access, and finally, I'll share a common pro tip for troubleshooting. Let's dive in. All right, first things first, let's get you logged in. Okay, so go ahead and open up your web browser and point it to the server address you set up during the installation. And here's a key detail to remember. The system only uses HTTPS for a secure connection. You should be looking at this login screen right here. Now, to get in for the very first time, you're going to use the default credentials. The login name is simple. It's just admin. And the password is master#4346. Let me spell that out. That's master with a capital M, the pound sign, and then the numbers 4346. The very second you log in, WMS Pro is going to make you change that password. And this isn't just a suggestion, it's mandatory. It's a super important security feature, right? It stops anyone from using a known default password to get into your system. So go ahead and pick something strong and secure. All right, password updated. And you're in. Welcome to the main dashboard. Think of this as your command center for pretty much everything. System status, event history, all your navigation. And just like that, step 1 is done. Okay, so we're in the software. That's great. But it's not much use without the hardware, right? The next critical step is to connect our physical panel and get it talking to the system. So for this next part, we're actually going to step outside of the WMS Pro web browser for the minute. We need to use a different piece of software called CT+. This is what you use to program the panel itself. So here's the basic plan. We'll open up CT+, pick a communication path, run a handy wizard, punch in our server details and a really important encryption key, and then save it to kick off the connection. All right, here we are inside the CT+ software. Now, quick but really important note, you have to be using version 3.0 or newer for this to work, okay? So once you're connected to your panel, just head over to the Panel Programming tab, click on the Communications icon, and then choose COM paths. This config wizard makes things super simple. You'll want to set the type to WMS Pro, TCP, and then type in your server's IP address or its domain name. Now pay close attention, because this next part is the most important bit, the encryption key. The system generates a random 6-digit code for you. You absolutely have to copy this code. Seriously, copy it to your clipboard, write it down, whatever you need to do, because we're going to need it in the very next step. Okay, so right now, that panel is out there actively trying to shake hands with WMS Pro. So let's flip back to our web browser to approve that connection by enrolling the controller. This is where we really start to bring the system to life. But wait, before we click that enroll button, let's quickly talk about a key concept, sites versus regions. They're both ways to organize things, but they do different jobs. A site is exactly what it sounds like, a physical location. Think main office or warehouse B. Regions, on the other hand, are all about permissions. They control what a system operator can see and do. So you might have a security manager region that lets an operator see all the doors and cameras from every site. Okay, now let's put all those pieces together. Back in WMS Pro, if you go to Administration and then Controllers, you should see your panel sitting there in the Unenrolled Controllers tab. Go ahead and click on it. This enrollment window will pop up, and that's the very first thing it asks for? Yep, that encryption key we just copied from CT+. So paste that in, assign the controller to a site and a region, and hit save. Awesome. Our hardware is officially online and talking to the software. So what's the next logical step? Well, we need to decide who can actually use it. It's time to manage user access. In other words, figure out who goes where and when. The main idea you need to grasp here is something called Controller Access Groups, or CAGs for short. So what is it? Simply put, a CAG is just a bundle of permissions. I like to think of it like a key ring.
Instead of handing someone a whole bunch of individual keys for different doors, elevators, and alarm zones, you just give them the office staff keyring that has everything they need. And here's the best part. You don't have to sit there and create all of these from scratch. When you enroll a controller, WMS Pro is smart. It actually reads the configuration that's already on the panel and automatically generates a whole list of these SAGs for you. Super helpful.
So we've got these CAGs, these bundles of permissions. But who do we give them to? Well, we give them to cardholders. The cardholders list represents the actual people in your system, the ones with the cards or pins. And just like the CAGs, this list gets populated automatically from your enrolled controller. And assigning this access is super straightforward. Let me walk you through it. You just pick a cardholder you want to edit, then you hop over to their Access Groups tab. You'll see a row for each controller. Just click the little plus symbol, pick the right cage from the pop-up list, click OK, and save. That's literally it. Simple as that. All right, we're almost there. Let's wrap things up with a really practical troubleshooting tip. We're going to look at a very specific but pretty common issue that you might run into if you're upgrading an older system. So picture this. You've just upgraded your system from WMS Pro version 1.0. Everything seems fine, except your USB card programmer isn't working. The system says it's online, but when you try to write to a card, nothing. If that sounds familiar, don't panic. There's a really easy fix. The problem, 9 times out of 10, is an outdated piece of software on the local computer called the STP interface application. All you need to do is upgrade it. Here's how, step by step. First, uninstall the old version from the computer. Second, log back into WMS Pro and head to the Card Programmers page. Third, select your programmer and hit the download button. Fourth, once it's downloaded, unzip that file. And last, step 5, just install the new setup file you just unzipped. Do this on every single PC that has a card programmer, and you'll be back in business. And that's it. You've done it. Your WMS Pro system is officially online. Your hardware is connected, and your users have access. The basic setup is complete, but really, this is just the beginning. Now the real work starts, thinking about optimization. So the big question for you to think about now is this. How are you going to fine-tune your sites, your regions, and those access groups to perfectly match your facility's unique needs for both top-notch security and smooth efficiency? The power of the system is now officially in your hands.